so part of my program, so they say change your people, people's things, all this stuff. And so, one of the things that I do to protect myself is I don't talk about what I used to do. Like, I just kind of, and it's not like I don't talk about it. I talk about it, but I've tried to take certain words out of my vocabulary. And a lot of those words, are around crystal meth. I don't want to even say the word. Like, why should I even bother? Like, I just take it. I don't even talk about it. And whenever I do, it's like, yeah, crystal meth. But I seem to be okay with calling it Tina, because that's sort of like just a person's name. And then it kind of goes along with the whole thing of changing your people, places, and things. People. Okay, so Tina. Sorry, Tina, you gotta go. And then I used to hang out with this other bitch, Gina, which is GHB or something like that. I don't even know what it's called. GG, blah, blah, I don't even know. The joke was always on me. Because, and I knew that too, like on some level. Like, I knew I was a total mess. And I was, overusing the drug because, I shared in a meeting the other day about, when we drink alcohol sometimes, and I used to black out. I would black out. And Gina, that GHB stuff, I think it's called like a date rape drug or, whatever. It's kind of like, it's easy to black out on that shit. And I love blacking out. Oh my God, I used to love to black out. Because it's like time travel. You know what I mean? You're kind of like, oh, how'd I get here? And what happened to my shirt? And who are you? And where are we? And, it's fun. I thought that was fun. It was just kind of like, and then but what's funny about it is that there's so many times that I wish I could forget, and then I can't. So Gina, getting back to Tina and Gina, those bitches. I would use in excess because I'm an alcoholic, and I would use because at some point I had realized that in order for me to get sober, I needed to be done. There are those few who can see the writing on the wall. So in other words, they lose control. It just takes one or two times for them to drink, lose control, and then they can see the writing on the wall, and they read it, for themselves, and realize, I see where I'm going, I know what's gonna happen, and I don't want that for me, so I better fucking cut this shit out. Okay, now for me, I saw the writing on the wall. It's not like I didn't see the writing. I saw the writing, I read it, I studied it, I made videos of it, I documented it, I knew exactly where I was going. I knew exactly how my life was gonna fall apart. Now, regarding to me seeing the writing on my own wall about, where I was going with this, where my alcoholism was gonna take me, yes, I could see it, but I didn't trust myself. Because I didn't trust myself, that's why I had to experience it. Because then I would know that, yes, this is true, and yes, this is what's happening. And it's kind of like that old thing. I was joking with someone this morning, saying someone says the stove is hot, don't touch it, and I'm like, oh, I gotta touch it. Let me feel it. Oh yeah, that's right, it's hot. And now and he said, yeah, because you didn't trust anyone. You didn't even trust yourself. And I'm like, oh, fuck yeah, that's exactly it. That's exactly what I did not trust myself. So I had to play full out. I had someone one time say to me, I was on social media, and I was on one of the stupid gay dating apps. It was like Scruff or Grindr or something like that, whatever the fuck they're called. And I was on it, and I saw someone who I knew and we used to sit together at meetings weekly, and I saw his ad, and I knew he was sober. I knew it a few years, and I was pretty fucking sure this guy was sober. But his ad, what he was looking for, what he wanted to do to me was like, oh, that's all the shit I do when I'm high. Like, I would never do that shit sober, but I knew I would do it high. So I'm like, what's he doing? Is he high? And so I wrote to him and I said, hey, buddy, remember, I know you from the rooms and, blah, 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 whatever. And I don't understand, how do you do that shit and stay sober? And he said, because I'm done. He said, I'm done. I have no interest. I've gone all the way, and I'm done. And nothing and no one is going to make me do crystal meth. And so I was like, oh, okay, so I got to be done. I was tired of coming back, because every time you come back, you get that, you feel like a loser. I felt like a loser. And you sort of get looked at like, oh, sorry, oh, I'm back in, huh? Oh, did work out for you. Oh, here you are, that's just, and then you raise your hand for 30 days to be a newcomer and all that shit. And I just couldn't deal with it was too much shame. I couldn't deal with the shame of all that and feeling like a loser. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not a loser. Okay? Number one, I'm not a loser. And so, it was like, okay, then stop trying to do something you're not ready to do. Stop trying to do sobriety. When you're ready to do sobriety, you'll do sobriety. But for now, it was like, okay, I'm just gonna fucking use drugs and fucking play full out, and it was like, take the brakes off. And you're not gonna hit the brakes anymore. You're gonna fucking go until the goddamn wheels fall off, or you fucking run off the road, whatever happens first, And while I was doing that, I was, I've burned a lot of bridges in my career to my own detriment, like I've burned many professional relationships. They call burning bridges, right? I burned so many professional relationships to my own detriment. I know how to burn a fucking bridge. I fucking blow them up now. You know what I mean? Like, I fucking know how to burn a bridge. So, while I was when I was in the last few months of my addiction, I was like, playing full out. Like, fucking, that's what the person said to me, like, oh, Gina's not your friend. I'm like, honey, yeah, I think I can kind of figure that out. Like, yeah, she's not my friend because I would take too much, and I would go all the way. I would say I was playing full out, so I would get off the rails. That was my goal. That was always my goal. Off the rails. That's what I would say. I was like, I'm going off the rails because I'm gonna do so much drugs and so many drugs right now that I just want to go fucking flip it out so that I don't have to do it again. That was the whole point. So I don't have to do it again. Play full out and then don't have to do it again because then I'm done, right? Somebody said to me one time too, like, because I used to do this whole Zooming thing, right? Where I'd be, that's another word I really don't say anymore. Either Zoom, I certainly can't be on Zoom. I'm banned from Zoom because I used to go on there and use drugs with other people who use drugs in these rooms, and that was kind of like what we did, and it was a fun thing, and I became a little sort of, I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but a little kind of notorious for having a certain kind of personality in those rooms. And someone was like, oh, you're a mess. Like, you're just being a fucking mess. And I'm like, yeah, honey, that's my brand. Like, haven't you been paying attention? Like, everyone here is, oh, fuck. Son of a bitch. This fucking thing fell off the goddamn thing. See, I'm still a mess.